Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. It's a Thursday night and that can only mean one thing. I'm sat here with my very, very good friend. You see that extra very I chucked in there for you. Just buttering you
That
up this week a little bit. How are you doing,
that
mate?
is.
You doing good?
I'm doing good. Yeah, gonna do it. Doing great.
Gonna do it. Doing great. You're doing
Oh,
great. Yeah, I'm decent, mate. It's been a pretty. I'm enjoying FPL at the moment. Like the green arrows are just flying in. We're no longer like doing these streams where I'm like 5 million rank. It's all gone wrong. I'm sat here without Haaland and he's got a hat trick. I'm enjoying it. Things are going well. Things are going well, mate. So can't
yeah.
complain. What
I've,
about you?
I finally had to accept. I think I finally had to accept that I am FPL Tom reserves.
Hey lad, it's only taken 12 weeks. I think that might be a record, you know. That might be a record.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think the early triple captain worked, but now all wild cards they all even out in the end, and it comes down to the quality of the core of the team, and unfortunately, still lacking. But no, I'm still feeling it. I'm still taking it seriously. I think it was just a bit of an up and down week where things could have gone my way, couldn't have gone my way, and of course, the elephant in the room that is Erling Haaland.
Yeah, agreed. Obviously, we'll be talking quite a bit about him, especially regarding my transfer plans around him as well. I'm not sure if you've got the stream open. I'm guessing you haven't.
I have, yeah.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
watching it down here.
What do you think of the Christmas tree, lad? It's all right, isn't it? It's not bad that.
Yeah, no, mate, it looks lovely. I was taken away by your pretty face, to be
Oh
honest,
yeah,
mate.
that
So
that that usually does distract people. That does usually distract people,
yeah,
the pretty face. But
I'm wearing archery on myself,
yeah,
as you
yeah,
can
yeah.
see.
Well, what I was going to ask you is, we do have a spot right at the top where we're looking for an angel. Any
Mm.
recommendations you potentially go for up there?
Well, I know who you're going for. I saw those comments the other day,
Hmm.
and I think that is a valid shout. I think he can only be your angel when you bring him into your team, if that's this week or
It's
in a
it's
couple of
it's
weeks.
the midweek game week, so Tuesday I think
Right.
he'll be coming in.
So I think you there may be. I think he's a search. You've got to have him in when you've got him in your team. But I think if you can act quick enough, there's a potential temporary stand-in
Hmm.
angel available for the next week.
Yeah.
Um, who that may be, I'm not sure. It just kind of depends on who we're both. I think we're gonna have to go for someone that we're both rooting for this week,
Yeah.
but someone that is a little bit more rogue than the classics of Palmer and Salah and Haaland, etc. So,
Yeah.
well, I think by the time the stream's done, I think we'll have a good idea. But I think in a week's time, it's gonna have to be Mr. Jared Bowen, isn't it?
I think it is going to end up being Mr. Jared Bowen sat on the top of that tree. To be honest, I'm sure the
Mm.
work printer won't mind me getting a nice little picture of Jared Bowen. I don't think they'll mind that I'm spending work money on a picture of Jared Bowen.
No, of course not.
That's
Of
not
course
that.
not.
You know what I mean? Work computers are there for that, really. You know what I mean? You just get them in, get it on. It's fine. It's all fine. By the way, I've not been neglecting the chat. I've seen everybody in here. We've got Tom, we've got Thomas, we've got a turkey in a bush, one of our channel moderators and members. We've got Andy in here as well. Some absolute legends. Hope everyone is doing splendid in the chat. Of course, get your questions in. Me and Jake will be answering them throughout today's stream. And trying to give you guys the best advice. Of course, if that advice doesn't work out, make sure to send me a DM, blaming me for your faults. Of course, get your comments in as well, and make them personal. And that's what really sets you apart from the rest. Really, make them personal, hatred, maybe some
Mm.
homophobia. I
I think
reckon.
the one thing I would add to that is, whilst you're messaging Tom, I think the main thing you're avoiding is you need to DM the person, the footballer
Yeah,
who has let you down,
yeah,
because
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing's going to change unless you actually criticize him to his face. If you can get him on some kind of Instagram call, even better.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah, I think Tom's the scapegoat here when really you should be abusing the players, because that's of course the right way to do things.
100%, 100%. Make sure you're abusing the players, then come to me next. That's the standard procedure, really.
Hmm.
If nobody's got an idea what we're actually talking about, I got a few DMs last night and a guy on on YouTube blaming me for picking some picks. I pretty much basically deleted most of the Twitter comments, but the YouTube one remains as well. So yeah, like I said, if we recommend any picks and they don't go well, come back in here next week, and if you want to go toe to toe, I'm ready. Let's go for it. Right, Jake, let's start off with your team first then from Game Week 12. I think on paper, you know what, mate? It's actually quite a good team, but it's not really scored too well for this week. But on paper, it looked decent going in, but it's not quite gone to plan. Talk me through it. What went well? What obviously didn't go well? It's a very strong bench, by the way, as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's two results which we mentioned. Well, one especially, which we mentioned last week, where we were pretty much toe to toe between ourselves with Fulham and Wolves, and I think you were the underdog, and Fulham were much the more preferred side to win the game and to get kind of attacking returns with their players. So I feel like you were in the minority for players that would be assumed to have done well. And Wolves absolutely battered Fulham, and that's just one of those things, really. It comes from time to time. They fully deserved it. Matheus Cunha, I said in a group chat that we've got that he needs to be taken out from one of our friends' teams to bring Isak in. What do I know? What am I talking about, man? That Isak head-to-head goal record meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cunha. I think that is the proof that everyone needed, just to see that he's not a striker, but when he's given that freedom just behind the striker, my word, he's some player, isn't he? But yeah, so I don't have him in my team, but I did bench my two Wolves players. Now, don't get me wrong, Aït-Nouri, 2 points more than Robinson. That's not that big a deal. But Strand Larsen, who is just a cheap option alternative to Cunha for plenty of teams, I'm sure, for him to go on my bench and getting 5 points when the majority, probably the average of my team was 2. Yeah. I'm a little bit disappointed with that, but if I went back in time, I would have gone for Fulham any day of the week. So it's just the way it is, and that's the same stands for Spurs. Dragusin was, I would say, at fault for Ipswich. Did he score an own goal in that game?
No,
he very nearly scoring.
I think he gave the ball away for one of the goals, did he not?
Yeah, but he was abysmal anyway. And I benched him, realising my mistake after being given a lot of criticism before the Ipswich game. It then proved to be true. Benched him, and then, of course, what the hell's going on with Manchester City? Who knows? I was very confident that City would batter Spurs. That would be the turning point. We've seen it season after season in the past when they've gone on a little dry spell. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is they beat Watford 8-0 after losing to Palace, I think, 3-2. Like, usually they bounce back, but this is not a Manchester City of a few years ago. They are dealing with clearly the stats will prove it, with the Ballon d'Or, the best player in the world, is missing in their team, and he is fully the glue that keeps that side together, because I don't think there's anything that's changed with them attacking wise. They'll still create chances, they'll still score goals. I know Haaland's been a little bit more inconsistent with his finishing. I do think that's got an effect from the fact that they are so aware of how leaky they are defensively now without Rodri in midfield.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's proven to be a massively costing factor for them. So, yeah, I think they're the three points which really let me down this week are Fulham losing and in some style, Spurs getting that unlikely result, and the Haaland captain over Salah. I know I said last week that I'd be happy if Salah did something and Haaland did nothing, and I am, but I didn't think it'd be so drastically. I just didn't think the performance of City would be quite as bad as it was. And everyone else, pretty much average, but I think they're the three positions where I think the game was won and lost, and why I was below average this week.
Yeah, I think personally you're probably a little bit unlucky. I think Evan Nielsen had a goal ruled out, if I'm not mistaken. Haaland hit the bar. There was the Robinson cross to Jimenez at 0-0.
And he hit the bar.
Or
did he? Yeah.
So, again, on another day, like, who would have predicted Manchester United to draw with Ipswich on the opening game as well? And concede? Not.
Yeah, and Newcastle to lose 2-0 at home to West Ham as well. Like,
yeah,
little things like that. But yeah, even so, anything can happen. But I feel like the Spurs and the Wolves games were the real shocks of the weekend. I think Newcastle haven't been like shining the world a light. West Ham have always got that in them where they can, if they score early on, they can sit back and soak up a lot of pressure, and that's the best I've seen them play for a while. They did perform very resolutely and very solidly, but I feel like that's more down to the fact that Newcastle just really struggled to actually create anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it was City and Fulham's surprising losses to me that really made the difference. But it is what it is, and I've got to say, back in my mind, I'm just happy that Liverpool continue to win.
Yeah, agreed. Right, let's move on to your team selection for this game week. I've pretty much put it in as probably I would have put it in. I didn't really kind of decide on a captain, to be honest, for your side. I've just left it how it was, to be honest. But yeah, it's looking a bit mishmashy, but you could probably get away with it this week. In terms of the captaincy, though, I do feel like it is wide open. I do feel you are missing some of the big potential captaincy players. That's going to be my first question before we get into the side. Out of all the players there, who are you thinking right now that you would give the armband to?
I think I'm going to have to give it to Salah. Of everyone. I'm quite pleasantly surprised with the poll so far. Been quite in favour of Salah being captain. But I feel like many people that are football fans and not just like biased Liverpool fans or maybe quite miserable Manchester City fans at the moment, I think people will see the game as it is and realise that no matter how poor City have been and no matter how good Liverpool have been, everything goes out the window on Sunday, and City could turn up and Liverpool could have an off day. Who knows how that goes? So I don't think that's quite as written in the stars as people might expect. But we'll have to just wait and see. I said that about City against Spurs, and I was completely wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like how my team looks this week, but I think I just need to ride with it. I think it's one of those weeks where, since I did my wild card about 3 weeks ago, my team has looked quite good and it's set itself out nicely for fixtures. I think I'm running the risk of, because I've got 2 free transfers here, I'm running the risk of then just finding myself making a transfer and being tempted into -4s in the next couple of weeks. If I make a couple of transfers here, maybe this is a week where I just have to suck it up and hope that the fact that my team contradicts itself quite a lot with players playing against one another, it does pay off. But really, on paper, I don't think my team looks entirely that great because it's missing, like you say, it's missing key elements, key players who have got good fixtures, especially captaincy options. But I think when all's said and done, I think the best thing for me to do here might be just to suck it up because I really don't know if my 2 transfers will pay off. Is to suck it up, continue to next week because the main thing I want to do is get Cole Palmer in. Bruno Fernandes on paper has a slightly better fixture. I know Aston Villa haven't won in about 7 games.
Yeah.
But that being said, it is on paper a more difficult fixture for Chelsea. Cole Palmer still coming back for an injury. He hasn't hit the ground running just yet, but he'll be giving him another game week. Should give him enough time. And that's not to say he doesn't perform this week. But I feel like with that being the main thing I want to do with my transfers, and if I'm going to make a transfer this week, I will do that along with the other one. I just feel like let's just cut our losses, wait till next week, see how this week goes, and give Bruno his final game week against an Everton side who they should be comfortably beating, really. And then, Palmer will be one of the 3 transfers that I'll have accumulated come game week 14, is it next week?
Yeah, game week 14, which, by the way, if people aren't aware, is a mid-week game week. It starts on Tuesday. Something I obviously was thinking with your team was, do you just take Haaland out?
I think the issue I've got is that as a Liverpool fan, I use this game not to win fantasy, but to feel better about how results go. And I feel like I might just have him on my side just in case, when Liverpool get battered 3-0 and he scores a hat-trick. I can at least show my face on the stream next week.
All right, but let me pose this one to you then. Right, Haaland out, João Pedro in, and then upgrade Jones to Palmer. Or Saka. I've tempted you. I can see I've tempted you.
Yeah, you can tell that you take your time and you actually structure your sessions and your streams, and you actually do like the homework that is needed to go into this. Whereas I just pick up my phone and go, right, Tom, right, what are we working with this week? Because I feel like everything I say can go out the window very quickly when you give me advice. But it is a very very valid suggestion, and I'd be intrigued to see what people in the comments make of my team. Which, if it's something to do with shit, then I get it. I completely get it, because it is a pile of poo at the moment, and that's just the way the fixtures have landed this week. I don't think that necessarily means it's a pile of shit next game week, especially when I will have then had 3 players come into my team. It's an interesting decision, it is, but I am so reluctant to get rid of Haaland because I just feel like everyone's doing that. And I think that's that one little differential that you could have if Haaland does hit the ground running. Now, I know Liverpool is one of those places where you'd probably say he's not going to. But I think this game week I'm going to keep hold of him. And I think I'm reluctant to get rid of him for the next few game weeks. If he keeps really underperforming, then of course I will. I will swallow my pride, but I just feel like a lot of people are drastically taking him out. But as we know, he paid off for me at the start of the season when people didn't fancy him. So I feel like I'm just a little bit. It's kind of, you know what? It's kind of like a little bit of an experiment what we're doing on this stream. And if I keep Haaland in, from the sounds of things, you might be tempted to take him out. So then at least we've got a good little checkup to see who's done better from this decision.
I guess so. My only thing, right, is I think the way that you have good FPL weeks is you always have the best captaincy options every week, or at least a good selection of them, right? And the players do pretty much like the best. Like they're the effective ownership people that will kill your rank, right? And looking at my team this week, if I take Haaland out for Saka and bring João Pedro in, I think I'm pretty much covered off everybody that could decimate me this week. And I feel like that way I have all the best captaincy options. Realistically, looking at this team, I'd probably say you've only got probably Salah as a captaincy option, right?
Yeah, that's probably fair.
And I feel like if you went João Pedro and you went Saka or a Palmer, you've opened yourself up there for another 2 captaincy options. And I feel going forward with the next few weeks as well, not having Haaland, I like we went through it last week, didn't we? There's probably only maybe the Palace game where you're going to captain him, but Salah's got a decent fixture that week. So there's not like a clear week for me personally where you're going to be wanting to captain Haaland. And I think when you are paying 15 million for him, what's the point in having him? Like Cunha is now at 7, is doing just as well. João Pedro's at 5.6, doing just as well. You've got Nicholas Jackson continuing to cook. I know Isak obviously didn't score, but still look very, very bright. There's still some great fixtures coming up. So I think taking Haaland out for the next 5 to 6 game weeks is the play to make.
Yeah. Some food for thought, to be fair. I think I need to just have some time to think about it, and we'll take into account what you're doing with your team. But yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. I'm just reluctant with the fact that Haaland is of the caliber that he is. If he hits the ground running again, I do fear that he won't stop, and we are tempting ourselves with, like, we're getting close to the new year, and we know what City can be like in the new year. Don't get me wrong, I'm very well aware that Rodri being out will potentially provide the obstacle to their incredible run that they tend to have come the new year. However, Haaland, if he scores against Liverpool, I feel like he could go on a run of scoring. I get what you mean, though. Like, you could get 2 players out of that could also score in a few games. I do get that. So it's definitely some food for thought. But I feel like it might be sensible of me this week if I were to hold on and if I were to swallow my pride next week, because Liverpool battered City, Palmer got 2, João Pedro or Vissa or whoever else I'm missing out of my team also contributed, then I'll be very quick to accept it and to get rid.
Yeah. I can get that. Right, before we move on to my team and the rest of the stuff in today's stream, let's answer some of your questions, so get them in. Of course, if you are enjoying today's stream, make sure you are hitting that like button and, of course, that subscribe button if you are new around here as well. Right, what other questions have we got? Let's have a look. What questions have we got? Someone said, "Who's the guest, bro?" Everyone knows who's this magical guest is. You're just a beautiful man, Jake. Don't worry about the people. Jamie's in the chat as well. Haaland, Bruno dibbling out, João Pedro, Saka, and Palmer in. I'm a big fan of those moves, mate. As long as there's not for a minus, I'm very big fan of all those moves you've suggested there. What about you, lad? Haaland, Bruno dibbling out, João Pedro, Saka, Palmer in. Would you do it?
Solid indeed. I'll probably do Haaland and Dibbling for Pedro and Palmer and hold Bruno for one more game week.
Yeah. I get that.
Who do Arsenal have this week?
Arsenal have got West Ham.
Oh, okay. In that case, I think it's a bit of a toss-up. If you're gonna make your transfers this week and that's what you want to do, then fair enough. But I think you could hold on a week with that Bruno one. I do think Bruno's game at home to Everton does still have a good amount of success in it.
Yeah.
It's just where your heart is. If your heart's with Saka, then go for it. But if not, hold him a week, because what's it going to cost you just another week? And it's only a couple of days, isn't it, before you're changing the team again?
Yeah, agreed. Jamie says 17k overall now. How close to the top do you think I can get? Jamie, mate, you can go and win it from 17k. If you're 17k now, think how many more game weeks there are left. There's 7 coming up in December alone. Your fortune can either change for the better or it can change for the worse. Just make the right picks. Captaincy's going to be the big one, of course, across this period. But, bro, we'll help you out. I know you're going to go and win it. I'm all for it. Andrew has said 4 weeks ago, I was 4 million. Got rid of Haaland. Now I'm 623k. Fair play, mate. That is absolutely cracking work. Let us know in the chat who you brought in and obviously captaincy picks and stuff like that. Callum says who to bench out of Watkins and Rodgers. Oh, I think
probably Watkins.
No, I go Rodgers.
Rodgers plays though, doesn't he? Like, I do feel like it's a bit of a toss-up with who comes on.
No, I think I play Watkins. His underlying data the past few weeks has been pretty steady across the board.
I'm playing Rodgers, so
I just don't think I could bench an asset that I'm paying 9 million for.
Well, in that case, you should be playing both of them, really, shouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, they are Chelsea away. It's not the easiest fixture, is it?
No, but hopefully you've got some head-to-head knowledge on how Rodgers does against Chelsea. I can't imagine it's very good, to be honest.
I don't have that one because guess what? It's his second seat. Well, yeah.
Yeah, it probably doesn't exist.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't exist, does it? Jacob has said bench one of Rodgers, Collins, and Milenkovic. Again, I probably would bench Rodgers there. Collins against
Forest have?
They've got Ipswich at home.
Yeah, you'd be benching Rodgers there. I do get that one.
Yeah.
2 good home games, 2 good sides. I mean, you could play Rodgers over Collins, to be fair, because Brentford would probably win 6-3.
Yeah. Harry says, I just did João Pedro and Saka in for Garnacho and Watkins for a -4. Was that a mistake? No, I think that's fine. Garnacho obviously not really playing at the moment. United's run's starting to fall off. João Pedro and Saka are probably going to get decent price rises and probably going to be very, very popular owned over the next few weeks. So, I think all those moves make sense. Sally has said Isak and Digne to João Pedro and Timber for a -4 to free up the cash to Bruno to Saka for a free transfer in game week 14. Ooh, I don't know if I want to be taking out Alexander Isak ahead of Palace,
No, I'm in agreement to that.
Yeah, that could be a difficult one, really. It could be a difficult one. I get the Digne one. I've been saying it for weeks, people that went Digne. He is a troll, and he will let you down at some point.
Who's JP? John Pritchard?
Yeah. João Pedro.
I hope there's only some Ashton fan in the chat that gets that reference.
Yeah, they're going to go, oh, bloody hell, John Pritchard. I remember him with Ashton. He was a good player.
Oh yeah, no, I would agree with that. Isak should be staying in.
Yeah.
I think Isak should be staying in for the next couple of, but at least till the new year.
Yeah. There's some decent fixtures. Obviously, the Liverpool
I
one
think
in
he'll
four.
score against Liverpool. They're at home, and Newcastle against the big sides, if we've already seen this season, are a very tough team to go and visit.
They are. I mean, West Ham knocked him over on Monday, but you know.
No, but that's not a big team. Like sorry, lad. Bloody father-in-law to me just had my head there.
Yeah, don't do the Hammers fans dirty like that, lad. Come on. Andrew said he went Salah, Saka, Cunha, Jackson, and Pedro. Got 101 points in one game week as well. Very, very nice, mate. Congratulations on your big rank increase. Reckon I do Wood to João Pedro tonight. I would not be taking out Chris Wood for me personally this week. This is the last good fixture you're going to get out of Chris Wood. Against Ipswich, I'd be keeping him. One last dance for Chris Wood. That's for me personally. Callum says, having my best season with a rank of 513. Captain 100% being the most important. Congratulations again, mate. Like we speak about most weeks, captaincy, I think having the best captains every week is always the best way to play this game.
513 is insane.
It's genuinely mental, isn't it? It's mental. Considering there are over 10 million people playing this
That
game.
is crazy, mate. So that is actually, there is a really good chance he could be in for the money there.
Yeah, 100%.
Fair play, mate.
Someone said Captain Salah or Saka. Who would you go for this week?
I think I'd go for Salah.
Oh, I'd be more tempted with Saka, you know.
Fair enough.
Brother's been cooking last two games in Champions League as well. Nice penalty and assist.
Didn't he score from the penalty? Yeah.
and what's Salah been doing to get these double-digit hauls? How many penalties he had?
Well, he scored one in open play.
Yeah. And really,
and to be fair, penalties don't actually prove dividends for him at the moment. It seems either.
No, that's just in Champions League, Premier League.
I fancy Salah. I think he'll get a goal or an assist or both.
Okay.
Saka, I think he could get an assist or a penalty. I feel like his consistency scoring an open play himself isn't as good as Salah's, especially when Saka is away. Don't get me wrong, West Ham, I don't fancy them against Arsenal, but Salah does seem to do it against anyone, especially at Anfield.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of them, really. If you go Saka, like, who's really going to argue with you?
Yeah. Tom in the chat said Saka captain last time he got 15 points. So, there we go. Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's a damn sight better than Haaland.
Alex says I'm currently ranked 4th in the world, bro. Right. I reckon people.
Alex, lad, come on.
People are making this up now. Get it?
Right, what are you doing on FPL Tom's stream if you're 4th in the world? Where's your stream?
Yeah. Alex, if you're sat 4th in the world, drop me a message on Twitter, and we need to see a screenshot. Yeah, so someone in the chat just said send your ID in, Alex. Come on, mate.
Actually, no. Will I be able to find out if I go on the world?
Yeah, if you go on the world, and it's going to be like John, not Alex here. But yeah, we're potentially diddling Alex.
Mate, he's 4th in the world.
Oh, Alex! Alex has diddled us all.
Alex, lad, fair fucking play. Oh. He's 16 points off number 1.
Oh, Alex. Fair play, my friend.
I feel like, I mean, we're saying this. Is this like we've got like royalty in the chat?
I think it is. Alex, do you want to just take over the stream, mate? We'll end it for tonight, yeah? You tell us who you're going for captain. You tell us who you're going for captain. What an absolute legend.
Bloody hell, Alex. Fair play. Well, we doubted you, and now look at us. Mud on our face.
A big, massive mud on our face. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Eggy mud.
Yeah.
Eggy
mud. He's probably left the chat and thought, I'm never going back to those two.
No, he's back. It's all right. He's just sat there all smug. Like, he's got his cigar and he's got his like whiskey on the rocks.
You onto like the Don Robbie meme of him just like a fat cigar. Just...
Yeah, he's like, you fucking call me a lie, you knobheads.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex, if you want to answer any questions in the chat, be my guest because you're a lot more qualified than me, clearly, with you sat in 4th. But yeah, absolutely.
The best thing is he'll be in head-to-head chat, head-to-head leagues, and he'll be fucking bottom 3, won't he?
Yeah, that's
just
the way.
Head-to-head stinks, man.
Yeah. We've said it for years, though, haven't we? It's not always the best player. It's just, yeah. It is what it is. But yeah, Alex, hopefully you can go and win it, mate. And yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. Andy just put everyone will be asking Alex now. Yeah, it's Alex's stream now. This is the FPL Alex show. And the coin appears. That's all I've got anymore. I've got a coin that I can just flip. That's it. That's all I've got. I'm washed.
It should be like Alex's head, really, on the heads and tails, really, shouldn't it?
Exactly. I just sit here now, waffle, tell people to buy Mittelstadt, and you know get called slander on my Twitter DMs. So yeah. Alex in the chat says he's got no idea. He says he's probably going to go safe and go Salah. Jamie said Alex is the new coin. Oh dear, for goodness sake. These streams never fail to impress me, like just the randomness that happens in them.
That's impressive. I think you've got to take a second and realise your reach. You've got the 4th best player on this game listening to your advice. That is impressive as fuck.
I don't think he's listening for the advice, mate. He's probably here just to see the Christmas tree and that's it.
Even so, you've got the pool mate of the 4th best in the world. You can't get much better than that.
No, it's pure looks. It's pure looks, really. Callum just said 513 feel like an amateur now. Yeah, sorry, Callum.
Yeah, that's nothing. We were oogling over that number for a few minutes, but bloody hell.
You were the top cheese. Now you're just a peasant, mate. So you know, get to the back. Right, we will answer more questions in today's stream a little bit later on, but I'm a little bit conscious for time, so let's get cracking and head over to my team and how I did. Another fat, juicy, delicious green arrow, and we might have lost Jake.
I can still hear you.
Okay, you've just froze with your tongue in your mouth a little bit, but yeah. We'll get you back at some point, mate. You're just a nice face to admire, to be honest.
Oh, nice.
But
I hope I can still be heard.
Yeah, you can still be heard. Everyone can still hear you. Just can't see you. And does that matter? Like, you know what I mean? Do we really need?
Well, I've got the face for radio. In all fairness.
Yeah, I've been told that many times on many dates as well. So you know. I won't worry about it.
It's a good first liner, really, isn't it, when they're trying to flirt with you?
Yeah, exactly.
A lovely face for radio.
Yeah, you've got a lovely face for radio, pal. 67 points in the end, and we've finally made it into the top 1 million. Obviously, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know we went without Erling Haaland, and we were back at 5.2 million in game week 7. It's the worst start I've ever had to an FPL season. And yeah, we've brought it back pretty much from the dead, to be honest. Another fantastic game week, but it realistically was a couple players that carried. Getting the Salah captaincy decision right, I feel it was a pretty easy one, to be honest. Him against Southampton, realistically, you should be captaining him. Cunha, yet again, with another amazing mega haul. Big shout out to him. And then Mykolenko keeping a clean sheet was not something I expected from the game week, but we'll happily take the points. And then, of course, Raya with a clean sheet as well. That Arsenal defence, again, another big tasty one to be looking at. He's still here, lad? I can hear you making oh no's.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, you were a bit like spaghetti hoops, but now you're back.
Oh, that's good. That is good, mate. That is good. I'm
still stuck on the screen, aren't I?
Yeah, you're still stuck on the screen. You're gonna have to have a word with Gemma's mum and just go, look, love, right?
Come on, love, you need to update this.
Basically, yeah. What's got off Gemma? Yeah, is Jake needs to get good Wi-Fi at ours because he's got 4th in world in stream with. So,
yeah, no, we've got 4th and well. We're really showing ourselves up here.
Yeah. If we can't even get his bloody face working, he's just frozen with his glasses on and his tongue like blobbing out in his mouth. So yeah, all good stuff. But yeah, another good game week. Let's move on. Let's keep this show ticking along. We'll head into my team before the transfers and how it's looking. I saw a little bit of movement there, mate. I reckon you might be back.
Oh yeah.
Go on, move. Yeah, he's back. No worries.
Hey.
No dramas. This is how the team is looking. I've got 2 free transfers to make. We've got Raya in goal, Mykolenko, Aitnuri, and Aina as a back 3. And Buemo, Palmer currently with the armband, Rodgers, Salah, and then a front three of Haaland, Cunha, and Visser for this week as well. But yeah, the transfer plans, I'm thinking, I'll give you those. It's going to be Haaland out to João Pedro and Winks up to Saka. So I'll bench Rodgers. What do you think about that for a team then, lad?
Nice. Yeah, fair enough. I think Rodgers does pop up a little bit more consistently than Mbeumo does.
Mbeumo at home, lad,
I get that.
I
get that. I think it's a bit. It just would be typical, wouldn't it, if Rodgers gets something, because he does seem to get something every time I bench him. So that's why I'm always reluctant to do so, even against the likes of Chelsea. But yeah, on paper, I feel like that is the most sensible decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, who are you captaining?
Palmer at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
This is a good shout.
The thing is, I would go for Mbeumo more. They've got Thiago back, and he came on in the 72nd minute. And I think with Brentford obviously having a midweek game like everybody else, I reckon this is probably going to come off around 60, 70 minutes this week.
Clearly. Quite clearly.
Yeah, I can see, mate. I'm taking up your precious time. And Mbeumo could also be a decent shout for captain. Yet to blank so far at home this season, and against the newly promoted clubs has hit double-digit hauls so far this year. So
yeah, fair enough.
But this is what I was talking about with captaincy. I reckon if I bring in Saka, I've got all the best options this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do get that. Your team looks stacked, quite frankly. My team looks like it's like David and Goliath. But we know how that story ends up. So
hey, mate, your team looked really good on paper last week, and it just fell off a cliff, didn't it? So
yeah, so hopefully we just get really good games between the teams that I've got. So Bruno maybe scores a couple but misses a penalty because Pickford saves it 3 times.
Yeah. Right, I always ask you this question because I do value your advice. We've been friends for a while, and we always talk about FPL. What would you do with this team if it was yours? You've got 2 free transfers to play.
Yeah. Well, with my extra year of life experience, have you?
Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
I would. How many transfers have you got? 2.
2 free transfers, yeah.
I feel like it all kind of sits quite nicely. It's one of those really where I think if you're going to take Haaland out and that's what's in your head, then fair enough. Because if you were unsure, keeping the team is quite nicely set out on paper there, as long as everyone plays that's on the pitch for you. To bank the transfers for next week to be the 3 transfers, but I do understand why when it's Haaland against Liverpool, you doubt he's going to get more than 1 goal contribution at very most. Why you wouldn't change that now? Yeah. So I do understand if that's my.
Oh
no, we're gone.
No, you're back. Gemma's
Can you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You just cut out for a second. Gemma's mum's Wi-Fi is garbage.
She keeps on bloody unplugging it. She's like the Wi-Fi is powered on her cycling on a Peloton in the other room. And she keeps going for a bloody piss, so she needs to stop. She needs to cut it out.
You're on to Always Sunny with the exercise bike. Have you watched that?
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm not going to say it's one of them. That's my girlfriend's mum. I can't say that.
I think it's called the Ash Pounder 3000, is it not?
Yeah, that's the one that that's like the plug-in extension you can get when the lads ride it. So
right.
It's good though. It keeps you on your feet, keeps you active. That's all it's for, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But back to football, I think your team looks great. I think it really just comes down to if you want to get rid of Haaland, this week is probably the right week to do it. If I'm being sensible, I do get that. So you might as well. João Pedro. He's come back in great form immediately and they've got a good run. And then it frees up funds for you to be able to bring yet another big asset in midfield. I completely understand that. However, on the other side of things with your team, if you had that team and you didn't know whether you wanted to bring Haaland out yet, it looks really good on paper anyway, doesn't it? So
Yeah, I
it
could
works
roll
both
again. I
ways.
realistically could roll again.
I don't think that'd be the end of the world if you did, to be honest, because you'd be giving Haaland one more chance, but you'd also, even if he does do something, you'd be making sure that João Pedro's game time is consistent, because of
Mm.
course they have got a good amount of squad depth, Brighton, in that position and around it. Don't get me wrong. With how he played against City, you'd imagine he'd be number one if he's fit. But with them playing 3 times in the next 7 days, you'd imagine there'd be a bit of rotation.
Yeah.
Whereas someone like Haaland's bound to play all 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Then, on the contrary, though, Saka probably will play all 3 games.
Saka
So
plays every minute he's available.
exactly. So it really doesn't. It just. I think that one is completely down to your personal opinion, because I think both decisions are sensible. I think going off recent form, the transfers make more sense. But with it being 3 games within a matter of days, then maybe holding for one or even maybe one more game week till next weekend wouldn't be the worst decision in the world.
Mm.
But it's the big moves and the big decisions, and like making those decisions ahead of the curve that make the biggest provide the biggest benefits. Really, that's how people make such big leaps in the overall table when they take that change. While people like myself hold on and sit on the fence, unsure whether Haaland's going to do something this week or not. So yeah, it works both ways, really.
Yeah, I have just been kind of trying to catch up with the chat because a lot of Alex-related chat has been going off, to be honest.
No one's listening to us.
No, everyone's
we could
got
have
to
been
mute.
talking in a different language.
Lad, we spoke about your girlfriend's mum using the Ass Pounder 3000 as a bike, and no, not a single person reacted. Everyone's just going, "Oh, Alex Palmer."
Well, that was something about us. Well, speaking of someone beginning with A, Alex.
Yeah, Alex, what are you doing with your team this week? Well, I've been reading, and Alex has basically not had Haaland in his team since game week 4. I'm reading here.
Wow.
So he's obviously not in the Haaland camp either. So there is ways to play
That's
this
sick
game
though,
without.
because he's had Haaland in when he's got his hat tricks, and then fucked him off. This is the week after he's got his second hat trick in a row.
Yeah. That guy.
That's some balls.
What are the winning lottery ticket numbers this week, Alex? Because that is some massive.
Tom, you're gonna have to get this lad on the stream one day.
If he wins it, we're going all the way. He's getting on. And he'll get the offers from the big guys. Folk will
If
be
he
looking
wins
after
it,
him.
Tom, you'll be lucky to get on his stream.
Wow, this is it. Fantasy Football Hub, they'll all want him, and everyone, they'll all the big boys will want you. But remember your roots, yeah. Remember sat in here listening to us two chat absolute dribble about fantasy football, right? And remember, some people questioning that you're even real, Alex. Some people are genuinely doing that in the chat. Some people are saying that he's just came in, he's just made his a YouTube name up called Alex, who's sat in 4th in the world and just chatting absolute waffle in the chat. Could be happening as well. Someone said, for the next guest, bring in Alex. Wonderful stuff.
That would be very funny if he has just changed his name to 4th in the world. That would be very impressive.
Yeah. Alex, if you continue to do well, mate, we're going to have to get you on, aren't we? He says, I'm rolling this week. I want Pedro now, but got Isak, Wood, and Cunha, so going to wait. That makes sense. All of those 3 could very easily pop off this week. All got great fixtures for me personally. So I think, you do want Pedro eventually, but yeah, I think all those 3, you'd probably be kicking yourself if you took one of those out and they went and obviously popped off. So that all makes sense as well. I actually think he has 2 accounts in here. It wouldn't even surprise me if some other people have started making Alex accounts now either. Right, let's head on into the betting data for this week. We always like to, of course, have a look at this stuff because it is really useful. Unless you are obviously the bookmakers predicting the Stuttgart games, then you're not very useful. The top for projected goals this week. Any guesses, my mate? I'm guessing you've not seen it yet. Any guesses who it would be?
Projected goals as in team-wise?
Yeah, team-wise for this week.
I imagine it's Arsenal.
Well, you'd be mistaken, mate. It is Brighton against Southampton with 2.45 projected goals this week.
Wowza.
And they're above everybody else by quite a distance as well.
Yeah, Friday Night Football, there was a bit...
No, Friday Night Football is usually good. It's the 12:30s that stink. The Friday Night Football is always usually pretty good.
Have we got a 12:30?
We haven't got a 12:30, no. There's just 3 o'clockers.
Nice.
But yeah,
Well,
so, go on.
Yeah, no. Arsenal's not too far off, but yeah, Brighton. Fair enough.
Yeah,
I actually... Go on. You know what? I'm just waffling nonsense. You have your turn. It's your show.
Yeah. Get in line. All right.
Yeah.
Alex is coming on soon. Don't worry about it. Spurs, interestingly, second was the one I wanted to point out. 2.25 for people that maybe got Solanke, Son, Maddison. Could be worth just keeping him for another week with good projected goal numbers like that.
It's so weird, Spurs. I think if you've got them in, you've got to keep them in. I completely get that, but you wouldn't go and recommend a Spurs player, would you, right now, even though they've just beaten City 4-0? I really don't know what to expect from them this weekend. They could so easily go and lose.
It would be a classic Spurs.
It's very strange. It would, wouldn't it? And they just seem to... They live up to the hype that everyone says that they're City's bogey team, and quite frankly, they are. But they've picked them at a good time. They've just lost to Ipswich. They got turned over by Brighton when quite comfortable. I don't know. I feel like they are very good as a counter-attacking side, and I don't know if that's what they're gonna. They're gonna be the dominant team with possession, I would have thought, and Fulham are very good at counter-attacking as well. It's going to be a tough game. That I'm not too sure what I put in the predictions league that we've done, but
we did those predictions about 8 years ago, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, but I definitely wasn't. It wasn't a confident Spurs win, that's for sure. If I had them to win, it was very close. Yeah. So yeah, I really don't know how to fancy them. Like, if they're favourites to score that many goals, fair enough. But I think Fulham have been a bit hard done by there.
Yeah. Brentford and Forest, probably going to be the last week for any of these sort of assets. After this week, for both of these teams, it does start to get really, really difficult. So Brian and Mbeumo, Visser, Wood, Aina, probably going to be one last dance. And from the betting markets, it's looking decent for both clean sheets and projected goals for this week as well coming up. And yeah, any other standouts you probably pick out on there, lad, or anyone?
United, yeah, United. I would have them. They're surprisingly, they're not actually as high predicted as Chelsea, but I think that's just more on United than the side that they're playing against.
Yeah.
The chances of a clean sheet though are quite impressive.
It's looking tasty for your Dalot.
Yeah, Dalot's looking good. I think he'll stick in for a little bit. He's going to have to, whether he likes it or not. And I just fancy Bruno against Everton. He's got a decent record. I hope you've got him as a head-to-head, like.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
No, I'm just messing with you.
Well, I'm going to have to do some little homework as we're on this stream then.
Oh, dear. Right. Let's move on then. Let's take a look at... I can't remember what I put next. It's the projected points from Fantasy Football Hub. Was it Bruno you said on the head-to-head record?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got Bruno on there, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I'll go back on the stream then and actually pay attention.
I've got Bruno. Fantasy Football Hub's predicted points for the next 5 game weeks. Top 3 are Salah, Haaland and Palmer. Saka's pretty close to those as well. There's not too much disparity from first to fourth there. And obviously, like I said, I am selling off Haaland this week for Saka over this time period. And you do feel like looking at these predicted points, it's ridiculously close that it could go either way. So maybe you sticking with Haaland and maybe me selling him could be a really good experiment.
It would be a good experiment, but I also feel like, you know what? If I was to be a gambling man over these next 4 game weeks, by game week 17, I think Palmer will have more points than both of them.
Okay, interesting.
I think Salah's going to play every minute and will have chances, but we've got quite a difficult run here with City, Newcastle away, the Merseyside derby, which is a guaranteed goalless draw.
Yeah.
Haaland, who knows how that will go? That could go one way or another, but Palmer's fixtures on paper, he should be expected to get the most, I would have thought.
Yeah. A man we've actually not spoken about in today's stream, Nicholas Jackson. Has he entered your thought process at any point? Chelsea's fixtures are ridiculous. It seems like he can't stop scoring at the moment as well.
Yeah, and some like the goal against West Ham was very tidy indeed.
Mm.
They don't seem to have anyone that can really replace him because even Nkunku isn't the same kind of player.
No.
Jackson leads the line extremely well, and I don't know too much about that Gay or whatever his name is, Gui.
Yeah, I doubt he'll play a Premier League minute this season.
No, so I do feel like Jackson is becoming that second reliable starter for Chelsea. He's the second man on the team sheet, you'd imagine, after Cole Palmer at the moment.
Yeah. Somebody I just wanted to point out down towards the bottom of the list, is Martin Odegaard, back from injury, the glue that holds Arsenal together, really. And since he has come back, they've looked a lot better going forward. Now, I don't think he's going to be an FPL pick, but do you think him being back makes Saka and other Arsenal assets more attractive?
Yeah, certainly, and I do think Odegaard is a very worthwhile alternative to a Saka if you want an Arsenal asset in your team, but are just a little bit short on the likes of Saka. I think he is more value for money than you're going to get for Havertz. And yeah, I actually think Odegaard is a very good option to have in your team if you don't quite have the money for Saka without having to split your team in two.
Okay. It is interesting that he's on here and obviously Havertz not on this list either. So, that does back up your point. So, very nice. Any players you wanted to pick out from this list?
Yeah, like I say, Palmer I do think will be number one. I personally, I feel like he should be number one, actually. Whether he will be or won't be, it remains to be seen. But I think with all the fixtures coming up, his are the most welcoming, and he does seem to perform extremely well, like he should do against the sides that Chelsea should be beating. That's not to say he doesn't perform against the top six or the classic top six sides. I just mean when he plays against the sides that Chelsea should be beating, he tends to get a double-digit haul.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do fancy him. Saka's an interesting one. I think you make a valid point with Odegaard coming back. I think he will flourish from that. It's only going to do Arsenal more good than it is going to hinder them. Yeah, I think Wood, interesting one. Like you say, the fixtures take a bit of a dive after this week. So that'll be interesting to see if he's actually as high as they anticipate on these on these points predictors. And Foden, I think, is an interesting one. I think if you're a Liverpool fan, you'll be very well aware that he loves a goal against Liverpool. So maybe those points are just purely for this weekend, and he'll get a few. But yeah, I think he's definitely the one. If anyone was going to have a punt this weekend, I do think Foden is a worthwhile shout because he bloody loves a goal against Liverpool.
I didn't get him on the head-to-head stats. I'm sorry, lads. I didn't think of that one.
No, I don't blame you because City have been trash and Foden's really not made a name for himself this season. Yeah. He's just been part of a team that has just been struggling to deal with the fact that they've got a few very key injuries. I'm not even going to argue against that. They have, and it's just for the other sides around them to make the most of it. It's just life in the footballing world. And Foden, though, yeah, I do fear him. I think I am more worried about how he performs than Haaland on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Let's move on to the final segment before we answer people's questions and then wrap up. Of course, if you've enjoyed today's stream, make sure you hit that like button. Of course, if you are new around here as well, subscribe. As I will be live from around about 3:30 tomorrow for the deadline, so plenty of time for me to answer your guys' questions. Of course, we'll be doing team reviews and stuff like that. Right. We've got... I'd probably say we've got all the good captaincy options on here, realistically, for this week. I didn't include Brian Mbeumo or Visser because I don't believe they played against Leicester, or if I remember looking, it was like a game. So there was no real point in putting them on here, to be honest. But we've got Saka, we've got Salah, we've got Haaland. Palmer's only got one game. Unfortunately, this is how it's going to be for him most weeks. Cunha, Maddison, and Bruno Fernandes down the bottom. Interestingly, James Maddison with the best record on this list against his opponents this week. 7 games, 3 goals, 4 assists against Fulham. What do you make of that one, lad?
Typical, isn't it? After everything I said, I think it just proves my point that if you've got him, definitely play him. Yeah. Definitely play him.
Yeah.
But that I still 100% stand by it. No matter how he does this week, it's not worth the shout to bring him in. No. I think he needs to just Wait, if he does well against Fulham, then maybe my opinion will change ever so slightly. But we just need to see a bit of consistency with Spurs.
Yeah.
They clearly have the potential there, and maybe with Maddison fit and playing a few games, we'll see it. But yeah, if you've got him in your team, just definitely play him. And if you want a bit of a rogue differential, chuck the captaincy on him. Why the hell not? But that's only if you've not got the likes of Salah or Saka or Palmer or Bruno.
Yeah, you wanted me to speak
or
about
Cunha,
you wanted me to speak
or
about
anyone
Bruno.
else.
That Bruno record's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
tasty.
he's tempting me, Tommy. He is tempting me.
Mm.
I remember I think he got 2 or 3 of those goal contributions in one game at one point. So hopefully, Lightning does strike twice, because I imagine his record is better at Old Trafford, and that is where the game is being held. So hopefully, I can actually work with that, because I think I might go for that,
Okay.
and rely on Salah bagging a load. Whether it hits me or hinders me or helps me, who knows? I will be happy if Salah returns, as you do imagine. And I think Bruno's a very good alternative, considering the lack of options I have really for captaincy. I think he's a good one. And I
Yeah.
think if I'm not going to bring Palmer in, I've got to back him to the hills.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. Haaland, only 1 goal against Liverpool. Was it at Anfield or was it not?
No, it wasn't. It was in a 1-1 draw at the Etihad.
There we go. I knew you'd know that. So never scored at Anfield, and you're keeping this man in.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
You're
if you
paying
compare it to
£50 million for a man that's never scored at Anfield.
no, I get it, but all I would say is that's 3 games he's played. It's 1 goal he scored. Anything can happen. You know the amount of opportunities he has. I was actually at the Liverpool game when they beat City 1-0, and he had chance after chance. It's not like the opportunities don't come to him.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the day, and he scores against absolutely everyone. He's the type of player that is relentless and will make sure that he scores against every single club at their stadium as possible. He has scored against Liverpool at Anfield before when he played for Salzburg, so he can find the back of the net at Anfield. It just depends. If De Bruyne is back and starts, that's a worry. If Foden starts with him, that's a worry. I'm not writing that off, and I do think subconsciously, as much as I'm trying to take the game serious to an extent, I think I do use this game as a bit of at least like I can rely on fantasy points if Liverpool lose. But I do feel like Haaland is not a write-off. I get it completely. I don't think it's value for money, and it hasn't been for a good few weeks now. But I have faith that will click into place over the next couple of weeks. Whether I should take the hit on that or not remains to be seen. I might be ruining my lack of movement in that frame, but at the moment, I think I'm going to hold and just see how things go.
Okay. Anybody else you want to talk about on this list?
No, not really. I think I think Saka's pretty steady.
Yeah,
I'll give him that. It just depends on how he does at if he's done that at West Ham's ground, that's good. Because I stand by. I think head-to-head is more impressive and is more something to go by when it's at an away game, if that makes sense. Because if you're playing at your home ground, you can do that against anyone. But if you're doing it at the away game, and that's where your record is substantially better, that's where you're going to go to that away game and be like, I fancy this. So go on.
Last game, last season away.
Yeah.
6-0 Arsenal.
Oof.
Saka got 2 goals.
Well, there we go. So that's already 2 of the 5 goal contributions.
Yeah. What was the other one he did? Got a missed penalty in one of the other ones as well, but still a penalty, still getting the chances. So,
yeah.
And then the game before that, Holding scored. Jesus, Saka assist. So he's pretty consistent.
No, and I think he'll go into that game quite confident, which is what I think. I think, like I say, if it was at the Emirates, it's just another team. Yeah. But when you go to an away game, it does have a different atmosphere. There's no doubt about that. If you've got a good record in front of the home fans that aren't yours, you're going to fancy yourself. So I don't think Saka's a bad option at all there.
Okay, all right. Let's answer some of your questions then. Before we do finish up, like I said, I'll be live. Sorry, at 3:30 tomorrow. I'm sorry, Jake. What are you
Fine,
doing?
mate. It's actually Friday tomorrow, so
You in work tomorrow? Yeah.
no, I've been off this week, mate.
Oh, look at
Yeah,
it!
a little birthday holiday.
Little birthday holiday. I'll see you at the weekend as well.
Just got to announce, lads, that there won't be any streams coming out on Saturday because Tom will be prioritising his friendship over his work.
I won't. There'll be a video out Saturday as always. I hate my friend.
Well, Alex, what are you doing on Saturday?
it's when Alex is under 18, and this is all been a bit dodgy.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, get your questions in before me and Jake do finish up. I think we had some. FPL Shane, welcome to the chat, my friend. He says, thinking Mbeumo to Matoma or Bowen after game week 14. Any preference? And also a question for you, Jake. Are you on Blue Sky yet?
No, I'm not. Do you want me to download it?
Lad, if you want to get on, there's a real lack of porn bots, and I know, you know, they're what you love about.
Move, Tom.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can make that move.
Like Blue Sky's, pretty clean. It's clean cut. You know what I mean?
Is it good? Yeah. Is it all just football?
Yeah, it's just like Twitter, but like minus the porn bots and ads. So, it's
all right. I think I'll download that this evening.
Yeah, it's all right. It's not bad. It's not bad. In terms of the FPL one, Matoma or Bowen, I think we know where my heart sits. It's with Jared Bowen. Jake, any difference for you, Matoma or Bowen?
Yeah, I think for the longevity of Bowen, I think Bowen's the right shout. If you can get Bowen in the next game week, then go Matoma because this weekend's fixtures do definitely heavily support Brighton's performance over West Ham's. But as we've learned, very, very much so, time and time again, Jared Bowen will score against anyone, whoever the fuck he likes.
Yeah, very, very true.
The sun, so I don't know if I'm being heard.
No, okay, I can hear you. Don't worry, mate. You're all good.
Okay, I was just on a long delay, so I was like, am I here?
Hello. Basically, I don't know why I said basically. I'm always going to ask you this question. You know. I just want to. Lowest scoring game of the game week. What are you going for?
I think I'm going to go, after all of this, I'm going to go for United Everton. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw.
A 0-0 draw with United Everton. Okay.
Would that be 3 0-0s in a row for Everton, though?
Probably, yeah.
I think it will be, yeah. What have they done in the past couple of games? Oh, no. Yeah. 2 0-0s in a row they've got so far, so I'm going to go that one. What are you saying?
Oh, you know what, mate? One fixture is standing out to me as a fat 0-0.
Oh, it's either going to be. I don't know. It's not either. It's got to be Wolves Bournemouth.
No, lad. It's Liverpool City.
To be fair, though, I could actually see that. That's not even a joke.
Like, it's fully going to happen. Like, I'm going to stay there. I'm going to have the whole Sunday with you. And then we could be like, buzzing for the game. It will be the dustiest game in the world. And we'll be sat there like, phew. And it'll be...
You're like, I've got to drive home after this.
I've got to drive home after this. And it'll be 0-0. It'll be a stink fest. Absolutely honking the gaff up.
Yeah. Just don't come in a City shirt, lad.
Lad, I was thinking I might wear my City shirt.
What shirt am I wearing this weekend? Hold on, let me just have a look. Oh, a Stevenage top, it seems.
Oh, right. Yeah. You want us to get through. Imagine Mansfield at Anfield. You'd love that.
Is this round 2?
Well, yeah, round 2. We need to get through to next one.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
No, that would be exciting.
He's still there. You're still there. Don't worry. You're still there. Right, one final question before we wrap up today's stream. Palmer or Salah, who to captain? And then Aina, Mazwari and Konate, choose 2 to play.
I will play Mazraoui and Aina.
Yeah, agreed.
And I would captain Salah.
I think I captain Palmer. I'd captain Palmer.
Fair enough. Yeah. Are you playing the same 2 defenders? Then?
Yeah. I think Konate had some issues after your game yesterday as well. I saw
Yeah,
that.
because that little bloody baby Hendrick was just kicking everyone. he was just kicking out at everyone because he just couldn't get the ball.
Oh,
Strange boy. Oh yeah, just a final mention. I would personally going to put forward Gvardiol as bed shitter of the week.
oh yeah, he honked it up, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have still kept faith in him.
Yeah.
But my
Let
word,
me
he
just
was
have a quick look back at the weekend. Who I think might have got it. Who else could have been in there? I mean, people that went Palmer captain, I guess. Maybe. I mean, Theo
Haaland's at it a little bit, but no.
Robinson.
I feel like Vardiol is someone that people will have kept for City because of how much he's contributed for the side and kept them afloat. And he was one of the main reasons why they conceded a couple of goals.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But he's mine.
Okay, all right.
McCarthy, bloody McCarthy as well for Southampton.
Oh yeah, he was a prime bed shitter in. Honestly, primed.
I swear he's a Liverpool fan at heart. Some of the things he did
Stinker.
were interesting. Yeah, I could have had him. I think we know someone in our friendship group that's a goalkeeper that could have done better there.
No. I know Reece Mills would have. He'd have cooked up.
Yeah, but the other lad, no, you're not too.
But the old roly poly, he ain't keeping many out, is he? Right, we are going to end it there. Like I said, I'll be live tomorrow in the deadline stream, probably around 3:30. So make sure if you are new around here, you're hitting that subscribe button with bell notifications on, so you will be notified when I go live. But I'll see you tomorrow, and maybe there might be a stream next week. I mean, probably Monday's the only day I can do really.
I can do Monday if you want to. We'll work it out. We'll sign the contract. I'm more out than in at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, he's more out than in. Alex, whatever you're doing on Monday, pal, if you want to hit me up, get me on there. Don't worry about it. Right, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you all tomorrow.